Joining us right now is former NATO Supreme Allied Commander of Europe and Tufts University Fletcher School Dean Admiral James Stavridis. Admiral, good to have you on the program. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks, Maria.
What do you make of 3 background checks, and that wasn't even caught, that she has been talking about this love of jihad for so long on Facebook?
Well, I'll tell you, Maria, I doubt that you would hire somebody at Fox Business without doing a routine check of social media. I think that's now pretty standard in almost any hiring process. It's why we tell our students, hey, be careful what you post. It's going to be examined. It's a living record. So I think it's shocking that that was not done. We need a thorough investigation to find out if that is not routine and to get after social media.
So what's the answer here? You've got social media being missed. You've got now ISIS with its own passport printing machine. Apparently they got it from the Syrian government, so it's the real thing. What should we be doing?
Well, first of all, we ought to recognize that the best thing we can do is play the away game. In the end, we're going to have to protect ourselves at home, but everything we can do to knock this organization down in Syria, in Iraq, is what we want to do. So that means a better bombing campaign, more special ops, more trainers, not a huge mass of ground troops, but let's take the fight to them. And I'm hopeful when the president goes to the Pentagon, he'll hear that loud and clear from his commanders. Here on the home front, more surveillance, more intelligence, more cyber. We need that kind of surveillance, and we need to get after the social media message as well. We've got a lot of work to do, Maria.
Admiral, you're a 4-star Navy general. If you're sitting there on the cyber piece and you need to act now, do you think that's even practical, and how would you do it?
Well, we've got a Navy admiral who's in command of the National Security Agency now, Admiral Mike Rogers. He would tell you that the tools he's been given are not rapid enough, that he doesn't have the authorities to move in real time. That's what this big debate is.
Big problem.
And, you know, we don't have to give up all of our privacy, but we ought to dial that rheostat a little more toward our security.
Yeah, I was just going to say, how do you make that bridge politically? Because so many people say, give a little of our security away or our liberty away, and we get security. You know, what would your response be to that?
You know, we ought to be sympathetic. We don't want to give up our values. But as these incidents occur, like San Bernardino, I think that the next big one, and unfortunately there probably will be a big one that dwarfs this, 50 people in a shopping mall, 100 students somewhere, I think that's going to be the wake-up call we need to give our professionals authority to go after these kind of cyber attacks.
Hey, Admiral, this is Sandra Smith. Thanks for being here. It's great to get your expertise on this. And you just referenced the need for U.S. ground troops, and this has been a huge point of conversation. You just said that you believe it is necessary to be efficient in this fight against this terror group. What numbers are you talking about there that would make that happen?
Sandra, let's put it in perspective. So we had 170,000 troops in Iraq at the height of that fight. We had 150,000 at the height of that combat in Afghanistan. What I'm talking about is 10% of that. Let's start with 15,000 troops that can do the training, do the special operations, do the aviation, and back up the Kurdish Peshmerga forces and the Iraqi security forces in the south. I think we can do this at that level, but we need to get started, and I think the president will hear that in the Pentagon this week.
I feel like he's been hearing that, Admiral, and he has been pretty adamant that he does not want to put any more troops on the ground.
I think what's changed, Sandra, is San Bernardino. There's a reason he's going to the Pentagon this week. There's a reason he's going to the National Counterterrorism Center this week.
Okay.
He has to respond to those events.
We'll see about that. Admiral, good to have you on the program this morning. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Maria.
We'll see you soon, sir. Thank you very much. We appreciate that very much.